welcome back to Luminosity Living. I'm Monique. Today we're going to talk about me, Meet Monique. I just want to introduce myself so that you have an idea of who I am, why you're following this channel, all the things I've been through a little bit. It's going to be a little resume of my life. I have notes to carry. I gotta get them all organized. Well, I am organized, but I just have some on top of others. Okay, so first we're going to talk about one. I'm an INFJ. That's the Meyers-Briggs personality test, if you've ever taken it. I'm gonna write those words below so that you know what I'm saying, but online there's tons of free tests that you can take to figure out what your personality type is. I'm an INFJ, and what that really means is that I'm a counselor, which I am, which is funny. The name Monique actually means wise counselor. It also means that you're an advocate and that you're insightful and you see the big picture. That's so who I am. And INFJ, it means that you're intuitive, and I forgot what the N and the F and the J are. I'll write it below. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. That's why I have notes, because I tend to forget stuff. But INFJ is 1 to 3% of the population in the world. So I'm kind of rare. But although I'm in I take a lot of classes. So in one of my Facebook groups, other people took the test as well. And there's a lot of INFJs in there. So I think 1 to 3% of the population is in that one class that I have. But it's a rare personality type, and kind of pretty much after you get to know me for a little bit, I am kind of rare and kind of different. But so next we're going to talk about, well, in the intro you saw what my favorite quote is, and that's, "It's not the mountain we conquer but ourselves." And it's Sir Edmund Hillary, and he climbed the Himalayas on May 29th, 1953, which this was my favorite quote for quite a while. And oddly enough, I discovered at some point that it was on May 29th, 1953, is that when he climbed it. My birthday is May 29th. So, I mean, it's 20 years before my time, but how amazing is that? That's kind of cool for me, I thought. But that's my favorite quote because ever since, well, at least 16 for sure, I've been trying to attain self-mastery, or at least a sense of self-discipline. And while I'm still striving, and I don't know, do you ever accomplish self-mastery? I don't know, give me your thoughts and your opinions below. But for me, self-mastery is basically, if I could just do all this stuff that I need to, or not that I need to do, but that I want to do in a day that makes me feel good about myself, which is wake up, meditate, have my lemon water or their celery juice, eat proper, eat all living foods, do proper self-care, moisturize and do all those things. To me at this stage, that's what self-mastery is for me. And then maybe once I obtain that, maybe there's a 102 self-mastery, but I've yet to obtain all of those things because I need better discipline, which I'm working on. I'm working on self-love, self-discipline. I'm also working on detachment right now in my life. And yeah, those are the things that I'm working on. And so basically, I'm not afraid to know thyself, which I think is really important for people to really know who they are. And for me, I'm not afraid to look within. And so, for example, in 2017, we're just going to refer to the person I'm married to as my unsupportive teammate or my unsupportive mate at this point because, well, you'll hear in my life story that, well, I would like to be in a Hallmark movie, but I think I'm kind of in a Lifetime movie. Not that Lifetime movies kind of stress me out, and I like their holiday Lifetime movies, but I'm not trying to be in their everyday Lifetime movies. I'm trying to be in a Hallmark movie, and I don't think I have been, but luckily for me, I bounce back really easily, and I bounce back really good, and that's what I'm here to, I think that's what I'm here to help you guys with, and self-love, I'm still on that path, but forgiveness and unconditional love, those are things I'm really good at, and trust, which, yeah, we'll talk about all those things, but, so anyways, in 2017, we went to a 3-day workshop. In 2017, was it in 2017? Yes, because in August, no, we went in 2016, because in August 2016, on my busiest mom day, for the second time, the unsupportive mate left the family. He left. He was like gone for like 5 months or something. And then when he returned, we went to like a 3-day marriage workshop. And so, I mean, he didn't just leave the family, but he leaves for, well, this time it wasn't his soulmate. This time it was, I don't know, he needed a break and he met someone. So he went on vacation to Texas for 9 days and he was in love with her. Anyways, we're going to talk about all those things along the path on my video channel, because I'm going to teach you guys how to forgive and move on and to do all of those things. But anyways, in this 3-day class, it was like a vacation. We went to Costa Mesa. It's like a 3 days. It's like an awesome workshop for like marriage counseling. And it's other couples, but the day or the weekend that we went, there was only 5 other couples because there was 12 of us total. And that's so my type of thing. And he came along just because he said he wanted to like work on the marriage and make it better and finally like get our shit together. So anyways, on the last day of this workshop, the teacher was saying she saves like the hardest thing for the last part. And the last day is like looking within yourself, looking at your shadow side, looking at all the things that, you know, are your negative character traits. And for me, that's like, I love to self-reflect. I'm always trying to be the best person I can be. But even the teacher said that it's like rare that I was in because everyone in that class besides me, they really have trouble looking within at their negative traits and talking about them. And while I don't understand that character trait, yeah, I don't understand it because I don't know. Yeah. But, so I guess I am kind of rare because I don't have a problem, like, looking within and figuring out everything that's wrong with me, because it only makes you be, like, the best person that you can be. I don't know. So, yeah, so know thyself is, like, a real thing that I truly believe in, and, yeah, it's a big quality. So I've already talked about self-mastery. What it means to me is to wake up, meditate, have my lemon water, exercise, wash my face before I go to bed, all of those kind of things, moisturize, eat properly. But so within, I'm going to give you my life resume a little bit. And within it, like, well, even your life story, all life stories fall within, like, what did you learn from the hard thing that you went through? And I don't know if it's in everyone's life, but for mine, most of the times I grew was through, like, traumatic experiences in my life, I guess, or dramatic ones, like the hard times. I mean, the good times are there, but the ones that I really grew were the hard times. And so what I know for sure about me is that I do believe in my own magic. I think I'm pretty magical, and I know that I can make a lot of things happen. Because a long time ago, my motto was hope, wish, dream, and then make it happen. It was so important that I even had it like above our front door, and I would point to it to my kids, like because you know, they're born to like a motivational mommy, to like when I needed to lift them up and like tell them like you can do this or whatever to make things happen. So although that wording and way of life turned very stressful for me, well, the whole time it's stressful for me. To make something happen means that you're going against the flow, which is my current word right now, is flow and surrender. And so probably about like 8 or 9 years ago, I realized like that quote is no longer working for me. I took it down from the door. And the better way to go about life is not to make things happen, but to follow the synchronicities in life, the signs and the symbols, to confirm that you're on the right track. And so maybe someone leaves you because it's not the right person for you, and you're not supposed to be with that person, and there's something better out there waiting for you. Like, you don't have to make that person come back into your life. You know, although you can't make anyone do anything, but just let it go and heal and move forward. Like, I stopped making things happen because it's not good. Just follow the signs at the universe. It's like a much gentle energy. It's way better for you. So if you watched my welcome video, you know that I celebrate life, and like all the time, ever since I was really young. I learned to do that like around 15 or 14 to celebrate everything. I don't know, because I just did. So I celebrate all things and all ways, and I celebrate everything. I totally do. So here I'm going to go into my quick resume so you have an understanding of who I am and why I'm like really good at what I do. And what do I do? Well, ever since I was young, even on the playground in elementary school, I like to help people with their problems. When I wasn't matchmaking, which I'm really good at too, I'm a really great matchmaker. In high school, like the best couple was like a couple I got together. And then like my girlfriend, like I got her together, like match made her with someone who turned out to be like a long boyfriend for her. So I'm really good at what I do. I love matchmaking. It's like a beautiful thing. But I'm also really good at healing people or helping heal people or help people in difficult times of their life, like just by talking. So we're going to cut back to my childhood real quick because, you know, really everyone's life starts in their childhood. I'm not going to go all the way back to the way beginning, but we're going to go about the most important things, which for me, for communication style. So my mom used to like yell and scream at me for communication, which wasn't really good for me. Monique, it didn't really work for me. So my father, who was, I'm going to say he was a probation officer because it was, and that's important in this because I think as a probation officer, he was like into psychology and you learn how to talk to people really well. And so for him, he would sit down and talk to me and we would talk about everything and talk about my feelings and talk about why I did the things that I did. And that really worked for me. Like that's my kind of style. And that's what I do with my kids. I probably talk them to death about stuff, but you know, it's a good thing to like talk things out. And so within those talks throughout my childhood, there's 3 things that like stood out for me forever. And it's like, those are like, we had a lot of talks, but these are the things that I totally remember from them. One is that no one can make you do anything that you want to do. And I think that conversation came because, well, my parents were divorced and he came over when he wasn't over to help me with my math because I'm not good at math. He was there to like help me comprehend how to like be happy with my mom because she was always like yelling at me, and because I'm like totally different than her. I'm this happy chipper person, and it's just you have to learn how to understand your parents, which like 20 years later I learned, but at the time it was difficult for me. And so I think that conversation was like, she makes me do all these things, but anyways, so no one can make you do anything. And that, like, I'm not going to break it down for you this conversation, but it's absolutely true. No one can make you do anything that you do not want to do. There is always a choice. And number 2, so it's always best to tell the truth, because when you don't, it gets really messy, and then you have to cover the lie, and then you have to like go on and on and on. Like, just tell the truth up front, whatever. If you're big and bad enough to do it, then be big and bad enough to tell the truth. And I think that was like the beginning for me, that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to tell the truth. And I always tell the truth. And I'm even learned to be more graceful at telling the truth. When someone wants to know something from me, I've learned to say it in a nice, kind, loving, compassionate way as to not hurt someone's feelings. Because I think a long time ago, I used to be just matter-of-factly tell the truth like that, but I think I'm a lot graceful. I hope so anyways. And then the 3rd thing was, even though your mother buys you things when she's grumpy and mad, like, because I remember specifically I wanted some tennis shoes, and this is what that conversation was, and she was pissed off about buying me the tennis shoes that I really, really wanted, and then I remember she ripped out her check and handed it to the lady, and was really mad at me, and just period. And for me, that was like such a happy thing. I like love these shoes. I couldn't wait to have them. I dreamed of my life in these shoes. She kind of ruined the moment for me, because how can you be happy when someone's pissed off that they have to buy them for you? When I needed shoes, like I don't even know why she was mad. So anyways, and so you told me that. At least like I'm getting what it is that I wanted, so why does it matter if she's mad? So okay, so I learned to live with that. But in retrospect, I don't think that was a good thing to do, because I think in my life, I've learned to accept gifts wrapped up in shit is what that is. It is not a good thing to be happy that at least you're getting something when someone's giving it to you in a bad way. It's not a good thing at all. But I don't think he understood. He didn't know that at the time, I'm sure, because, you know, he wanted his daughter to be happy, and that saying wasn't a good thing. So we're going to go into me. So at age 16, I stopped going to school. I think I was in like 11th grade or something. And I say stopped going to school because I was making decent grades. I was an A, B, C student. I was a really good student. I was even doing my homework on the days that I like wasn't going to school. And my sister would like take me to school in the morning, but I was like crying. Couldn't get out the car. For like 3 weeks straight, she did this, and I would just cry, and she'd take me back home. And I think it was having like a mental breakdown. And I think it was because I didn't want to be at school anymore. I didn't really like the environment. I was tired of being there. It wasn't my happy place anymore. And I can't do stuff when I'm not happy. That's for sure. And I think that was the first time that showed up in my life. Because you're 16, you're going through a lot anyway. It wasn't good. And so instead of going to school, I was doing my homework, and then like the teachers were like calling me, and I was like, I don't know, I'm not happy. And like, because the teachers were calling me because I was like a really great student. There was no reason why I wasn't going to school. So anyways, instead of going to school, I would go to the library because, you know, I really love books. Even back then, I loved books. So at the library that was down the street from my house, I discovered Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, like all of these people, Brian Tracy, like all of these books that helped me rise above what I was feeling, and it gave me a sense of understanding my thoughts and my feelings, and it was amazing. So I spent like the next year and a half reading those books. And so I don't think I was depressed because I had a job and I was still going to work when I needed to go to work. But I think I really just wasn't happy at school. I didn't want to be there anymore. And I think I was having like a little bit of a nervous breakdown because I was stressed about it. Because I don't like to do things that I don't want to do when I'm not happy. I wasn't in a good environment. It wasn't good for me. And so I ended up getting my GED like the same time my class was graduating. I got my GED and I met up with everyone, all of my friends again. And I went to a junior college. And so it was like the weirdest thing, but that's so Monique. I needed a break from like, I couldn't handle school anymore, but I was still doing my homework until like the very end. And I got my GED, met up with everyone on time in, I think in like, where I was from, San Jose, is like September. School started again for like junior college, and there I was again back with my friends because I had a better understanding of how, I don't know, how I work, how motivation works. And I mean, all of those people, like I love Tony Robbins, all of those things, it just really helped me, and that's what I needed because I wasn't getting those things at home. My mom didn't know about motivation and how to lift someone, and I don't know. So I got all those things from the library. So that was the first time I realized that I need to be happy, and I learned the power of self-motivation and motivating myself and incantations and all of those things. Make sure I have everything. So at age 18 was another major event in my life because my parents refused to buy me a car. I know, it sounds very trivial, but I really wanted a car. And so they refused to help me, so I was gonna have to do it by myself. And so me and my girlfriend, like I turned 18 in May, and in September, I started car shopping, and I wanted a stick shift, which is like the funny thing, because I barely knew how to drive, let alone a stick shift. So my girlfriend helped me, and so we went car shopping, just the two of us. And while it helped me believe in my magic, I really needed her there. She was a strong support system for me, and I don't think I would be able to do it without her. In fact, I think I talked about our Legoland trip in the first video I did. And at that Legoland trip, my girlfriend lived in San Diego, and so I wanted my kids to meet her to like, because she was like an amazing part of my life. Like that was something major that she helped me do. So I bought my first brand new car, and it was brand new. I didn't know how to drive it because it was a stick shift, and so I'd have to take off my shoes to drive it. And when I drove it off the lot, it was like, I lived in San Jose, Silicon Valley. It's like traffic time. So it was like stop and go. It was the most stressful thing, but I love to drive. And so I always tell my daughter this story because I'd always have to like, after I drove a little bit, I'd have to like go home, clean my windows, and then take off my shoes and rest, and then like go drive again with like my friends and go do stuff because I don't know. But anyway, so I accomplished that. So that was the first time I believed in my own magic. Like I felt like to be able to buy a brand new car by yourself without like your parents' like signature or anything, it's like a major thing at 18. Like it really is. And so I knew that I was magical, and I knew that I could make things happen. So at age 19 is another significant point in my life because where I worked at, like next door, there's a brand new club opening. So all the girls that work there were, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go to this club on like the grand opening, because we lived in South San Jose and there were no clubs there. So this is the first club coming to South San Jose. You would have to like go downtown or to Santa Clara or something to go to a club. So it was pretty exciting. And so I specifically remember, and so did my mom, that like the night that I was getting ready to go to the grand opening of this club, I specifically said to my mom and my sister, I'm going to go meet my husband tonight. So I got like, I still remember my total outfit, and I remember like saying that. And I remember the whole time I was getting dressed, I knew that I was going to meet my husband. So am I psychic? Well, psychics tell me I am, but I don't think it comes through the way I want to, but I know that I have a knowing sometimes. And I don't remember exactly, I just felt and I knew I was going to meet my husband that night. So later on, like it was like almost closing, but it was like around 11:45 at night. Like me and my girlfriends had this thing that like if a song came on that we really liked, would like walk around and like ask whoever like we thought was cute to like dance or whatever. And so Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch came on because I really liked Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Good Vibrations. And I was walking up the stairs and I saw like this really cute guy kind of walking towards me, and I swear like the light bounced off his teeth and it like shine, kind of like what is that, an Orbit commercial or something. So anyways, it turned out like cut to like 6 years later I married him. He was my husband, and 29 years later, like, well, I don't know what's happening, but together 29 years. So yeah, so that was like a major moment, because like how weird is that? I was like getting dressed and I knew that I was gonna meet my husband that night. Yeah, that was kind of weird. So age 24 to 25, he is my first boyfriend. Like, I didn't really date a lot. He was my first boyfriend, so I married him. And at 24, I got pregnant, got married, and at 25 is when I had the baby. And it was in that order. I didn't really appreciate it, because I would have liked to have gotten married first. In fact, earlier that year, I asked him, like, so do you think we want to get married? He's all, no, I want to have a baby. He's like, I don't want a baby. I wasn't really baby friendly, but I loved my babies once I had them. And so that was a big ordeal for me to start off pregnant and married just like that is the way that it happened for me, because I would have preferred to have been married and then have a baby, but life doesn't always happen the way that you want it. And so with that, I think I was depressed then with the baby, and afterwards I'm pretty sure I had what is it called? I had postpartum depression. So that wasn't a very happy time in my life. And I don't remember really how I dealt with it, but I know that I wasn't happy, and I would go talk to my doctor, and I would say, all I have to do is get out of bed in the morning and take care of the baby, and I'm not happy. And he didn't really have any answers for me. And it turns out I probably had postpartum depression, but I guess in 97, I guess he didn't know about that. It wasn't a thing, because I didn't know about it, but isn't he, as a doctor, supposed to know? But he didn't. So anyways, one thing about me is that I'm always goal-oriented, and I always have a goal. So I focused on, you know, my baby, and then trying to have another baby. And when he was about 2, I was still not having another baby, but I really wanted one. So at 2 is when like I had all like everything together, and I was ready to like buy a house. And so I asked my mom if I can move in with my husband and my one child for a year to buy a house and to save money so we could buy a house. And so 3 years later, with 3 kids, I moved out and we bought our house. Yeah, because I'm focused and goal-oriented, and I make shit happen. That's who I was. And so living at my mom's house wasn't going to stop me from having the babies, because I wanted to have all the babies under 30. I wanted to like knock that out, and I barely did with my daughter. She was born April and I was 29, and then like May I turned 30, so I barely knocked that out. But that was just like a long goal of mine, to get all the babies out the way by the time I was 30. So I made that happen. You know, so I say I made that happen because I used to like really make stuff happen. And so we get to the house, we get our brand new house or whatever. It's like 2 hours away from San Jose, where I grew up and where I lived for 30 years or whatever. So in 2005 is another important year. so that is on my 33rd birthday. On my 33rd birthday, 5 days away from like our big family vacation where we're gonna go to Disneyland, Legoland, Universal Studios. The unsupported mate leaves me for his soulmate. He's found his soulmate, and he's leaving the family on my 33rd birthday, 5 days away from our trip. And so my heart broke because that was the first time he ever left me, although it wasn't the first time. He's cheated. And so while this story, we're never going to focus on him, but on the actions that he did. And really it's about me. Why do you stay with someone who you don't trust and who continues to verbally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually abuse you? Like, it's about me. It's not about him, who's a narcissist who like drags you down and always rides your coattails because I'm the only one who ever accomplishes anything. It's not about him, it's about me. So as we will talk about narcissistic behavior, we'll talk about all these things, the focus is really never going to be on him. It's going to be on me, because why did I let someone do that to me? Why did I stay in that relationship? And I will say that not until I was 38, that's 19 years of being in the relationship, did it ever occur to me that maybe I should get divorced? Like, maybe there's someone else out there for me. Do I really want to like be with someone who doesn't fulfill me in any way, shape, or form? I don't even feel married. I'm raising my kids all by myself. Like, it wasn't until 19 years in until that thought even occurred to me, because I was so focused on us being together forever and so focused on us being a family. Like, it didn't even occur to me. Although the years have passed since then, but it was with a different mindset those last years as opposed to the first years. Like, I didn't even look at other guys. Like, no one, he was the only guy out there for me. Like, he was, is that weird? Like, I just, when I reflect on that, like, how did I ever make it through that? How did I ever do that? I don't know. And so needless to say, he left me and the kids. But anyways, you should know at the time that I was struggling with social anxiety. I was codependent on him to go places with me and do things with me. And so I don't break promises to my kids. Not even then, like, did I? Like, my daughter was like 2. She barely even remembers. My oldest was 8. My girlfriend came down from San Diego, drove down with her husband and her daughter, and escorted me and my family in the minivan, like, to LA or to San Diego. We stayed in like the timeshare that I was supposed to like stay at, and she did all the things with me that I was supposed to do, although I didn't feel capable of being able to take everyone to Universal Studios. So I only took my oldest son because he knew about everything about Universal Studios. So I drove all the way from San Diego to Los Angeles all by myself and back. And then afterwards, after the vacation, I drove all the way home from San Diego, all the way back to where I live, like 6 hours away, all by myself, which is like a major thing for me. And it's important because I learned that no matter what is wrong with me and how I'm feeling, I'm going to do what I have to do, because I'm not ever going to let down my kids. I'm always going to show up and be there for them, because I'm their stability and their support. And I even showed up for myself and surprised myself, because I knew that I had the courage to do the shit that I have to do. And I didn't let anxiety or any of those things stop me. Like, he couldn't even believe that I did it. And that's not even the worst part of the story. But we'll get into the story later and all the shit that I went through that summer. Because him leaving me on my 33rd birthday, 5 days, that wasn't like the worst of that story. But we're not talking about him, we're talking about me. And so it's not always good to be so focused and goal-oriented and wanting things to be forever. And that's how I'm learning detachment, because really nothing is forever. Like, my makeup sell out that I like, at restaurants, food that I like goes away. And so it's always like a major thing for me, because unlike a Gemini, I'm very loyal and very like, cheating isn't my thing. It's just one person for me. And so I needed to learn. I'm learning detachment, like, to not be so attached to things, to surrender. And So anyways, that was the first time that he left in 2005. And so when he came back, because I begged and cried and like, yeah, we'll talk about that, all that, that's like crazy. So I forgave him. And not that he ever apologized, but I forgave him. And yeah, we moved on, and it wasn't good. It wasn't great. He was still like not a good, yeah. And so, but I forgave him, and I gave him a little bit of trust that I could, because, you know, with the manipulation and the deception of a narcissist or whatever, they make you feel like you're the problem. Like, how come I can't do this? Because you don't trust me. It's a whole game thing that you have to go through, and I don't really play at games, and so it's always very stressful for me. But anyways, so 2007 to 2013, we had the regular ups and downs. It wasn't like whatever. I started a candle business because we went to counseling then too, and the counselor told me that I should get a hobby because I was focusing too much on him, which I was. He was like my whole world, like him and my kids. So I got a candle business. I started a candle business, and so that was fun. I was very successful at it because I run my family like a business anyway, so to have a real business was a good thing for me. So I earned like a cruise to Cozumel. Like I was really good at my business. But the favorite thing about my business that I really loved is, besides selling candles to my customers, I really loved talking to them. And then, and helping them like in different areas of their lives, like in seeing things in a different way. And so it wasn't just like I was selling candles, but I was also selling them comfort and happiness because I was helping them achieve stuff. So, that led to me like really wanting to become like a life coach and certified and doing all those things and really helping people, because I've always done that. I might as well like get paid to do it because I'm really good at it. So that's that. And so the last thing that we're going to talk about, because it's getting a long video, I don't want it long videos, I want them short. So in 2013, I saw the movie The Shift with Dr. Wayne Dwyer, and I decided that I wanted to go to the same beach that the movie took place in. The movie's called The Shift, and it's with Dr. Wayne Dwyer. It's a Hay House movie film. And so we went to that beach, and so before we went, I said to the universe that I wanted, like, well, I felt, again, that I was going to experience something, like, really spiritual, like something was going to happen. Like, I just felt like something was going to happen. I don't know if I wanted it to happen or if I just felt that. I think I really felt that is what I really felt. And so on our family establishment day, some people call it an anniversary, but I don't. It's like our family establishment day is what that is, because how can you have a marriage anniversary when you've never really felt married for the 29 years, right? It's a family establishment day. So we went there, and it was like a really magical day. And it was, well, we're not going to talk about it in this video, but what I will say is that you need to be specific when you ask for things from the universe, because I wasn't specific enough about what happened, and it's like an important story, and we are going to have like a video on it. But what did happen is I got pneumonia, and it changed my whole entire life, which led to where we are today. And so 4 months later, after I had pneumonia, because it takes a long time to recover from that, I had an epiphany at 4 a.m. in the morning, which has led me to where we are today. And that was like 8 years ago approximately, and I'm on track with everything that I wanted with that epiphany, and everything is unfolding as we speak right now, and it's like the most amazing thing, and I can't believe it. My daughter's graduating, and it's like everything is like coming into alignment. Although I didn't think I was going to have a YouTube channel, because that wasn't really on my list of things to do, but I knew that I wanted to be starting my business and doing all of that. But I think I explained how the YouTube channel happened. It's just, I had a thought, but I don't feel it. I think it was a gift thought from the universe is how that happened. But anyways, and so that's where we are today. So I think on this channel, like what we're going to talk about is forgiveness, because forgiveness is really important. We're going to talk about unconditional love, because I know that I have unconditional love, and I know that I'm really great at forgiveness. But what I'm working on with forgiveness, because it kept coming up in my life, the word forgiveness, but I didn't forgive myself. I didn't do self-forgiveness. So as of like November of last year, I've been working on self-forgiveness, kind of in a half-ass kind of way, but I'm like getting better at it, because self-forgiveness is really important, and I need to forgive myself for staying with an asshole, staying with someone who makes me feel shitty, who verbally abuses me. And it's not like I didn't fight through all of those things, because you know that I knew that everything that he said was wrong. It's like proof that I raised the kids by myself, that I bought the house, the cars, or whatever, like with his assistance, of course, because I'm a stay-at-home mom. But all of those things were Monique, and so to give me like zero credit into, I don't know, all the abuse that I go through and all the abuse that people that go through. But pretty much I made it out unscathed for the most part, except for, and I don't even think I had self-esteem issues during those days. It's just that when you're in an environment like that, even though that you know that it's wrong, it affects your body, it affects your soul, it affects your happiness level. Even though you know it's like false stuff that the person is saying, it affects you. So while I have my spirit and I'm happy and I have my old self back, I stopped self-care. Like I don't even know when that happened. I like let myself go in a way. Like I don't even know when that happened, because they're so draining, the narcissists. They take all of your energy, all of your time. It's just whatever. So we're gonna talk about self-forgiveness, forgiveness, courage, like self-empowerment, detachment, because that's what I'm working on now. We're gonna talk about all of those things, and how it took me so long to get to where I am. And so yeah, I'm making sure I have it all, because we're gonna wrap it up, because I want short videos and it's already too long. So if you decide to watch it, I'm really happy. And it's really important so you see like who I am. So we're going to talk about self-care and all that. So anyways, that's all me in a nutshell. And these are the things that we're going to talk about here on this channel. And so comment below with the topics that you want to talk about first. Is it forgiveness? Is it self-love? Of course, I didn't learn all this stuff on my own. Well, some of it I kind of did, but I've done a lot of it, like schooling in the last 8 years. So those are things that we're going to talk about. And also comment below with the most important life lesson that you've had in your life, because I think it's not that I think, I know it's usually during the most hardest times in our lives is when we step up and we show ourselves who that we are. And so I believe that you're magical. I believe that we're all magical. And so Luminosity Living, we're all going to display our magic and go out and live the best lives that we can. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to wrap it up now because it's already like too long. And thank you for being here. Comment, subscribe, like my channel. And I hope you show up for my next video, which is going to be in a couple weeks or so. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.